Welcome to the Codes of Sisterhood, a sacred space for women to unlock the codes of connection, belonging, and feminine power. Here, we are rewriting the story and remembering what it means to rise together. We are a collective of women gathering to raise the frequency of the feminine, to code what is possible for those who will come after us. This is legacy work for the women who came before, for the women who are here now, and for the women who are yet to come. Welcome, sister. You found your way home. This is the Codes of Sisterhood. Welcome, everyone. So excited to have you join us. Today's topic is a big one, and I'm sure it's one that we have all faced, and that is jealousy. What does it mean to be jealous? Why are we jealous? Have people been jealous of us? Have we been jealous of other people? All of this is going to be explored in such a heartfelt, loving, transparent, vulnerable way today. And so I invite you to just listen with an open heart to hear. Maybe your reflection comes up in one of us, and it's a beautiful way for us to begin to self-reflect. And so this topic came up. I was in the thick of something like this last week, and I was talking to my sisters about it. And so I was like, wow, this would be a topic. I feel like as women, we have dealt with jealousy in many different forms, you know? It's like we are pit against each other right from the beginning. You know, there's a mentality of scarcity and lack, and you got to get this man or you got to get this woman before somebody else does, or you got to look this certain way, or you got to have this certain accomplishment, or, it's just there's so much under it. And we won't be able to dissect all of it in this podcast. And also, it's a start. It's a start for us to start looking at something that is uncomfortable to look at. Let's just be real. This isn't the most airy-fairy, fun topic. And also, when we look at it from a place of pure consciousness and love and a willingness, there gets to be a willingness to want to explore this, transmute this, heal this, grow with this, even, right?
Mm.
And so, from that perspective, I think it can be a fun, enlightening, and beautifully healing conversation. And so, for me, I'll just jump right in. I never envisioned myself as a person that people would be jealous of, ever, ever, ever. For me, anytime I had felt jealous, of a woman, it was usually her body. Like, her abs look better than mine. I mean, she's in better shape. And, or like my man's looking at her and he thinks she looks better than me. And so then that would, I would start the comparison, which is the root of jealousy, but we'll get to that. It's like I would start comparing, oh, well, her boobs look better than mine, or, she's skinnier than me, or, her whatever, her smile's better than mine, whatever the case may be. I instantly started comparing, you know what I mean? Me against her. Why would he look at her? What was it about her that I didn't have, And that was always for me the biggest point of jealousy. I mean, I was so insecure at this point in my life when I was married. I would look at the back of videos and like see was there sex scenes. And then when he wasn't around, I would like fast forward look to see if it was something that I felt like I could emotionally deal with. Full raw transparency. I can't believe I'm saying this out on the air, but here we are. Like this was me. I was like in really, a low spot at that point. No sense of self-worth or value at that point. And so as I've done this healing work, wow, like I have transmuted so much of that. And what came up for me recently this weekend was that I had somebody exhibit jealousy for me, like about me, over me. And I was so flabbergasted by it. I was so not even aware that that's what it was until my spirit guides had to, knock me, hey, let's talk about what's happening here. And it wasn't anything that I had done. And I think this is a piece that maybe you guys we can dive into. It's like I racked my brain trying to figure out what I could have done differently or what did I do wrong, right? That's welcome to
Mm.
the 3-5 profile. What did I do wrong? And as I sat with it, there was nothing that I did in our time together where I had acted out of love, or I had acted from a place like I was vibing so high in this experience. I was on my Venus line, like I was in a realm that was amazing, and I was just bubbling from that. And apparently it was triggering to this sister, you know? And she just stopped answering my calls and texts after I left. Like, it wasn't blocked me on the social media, all of the things. And I'm like, what the actual fuck? Like, and my first instinct is always to search inward. And when I couldn't find anything, I'm like, guides, angels, like, I don't understand. Like, I was really in my vibe, in my power. I was having fun with her. I thought like this was a really beautiful thing. And then wham. And it dawned on me in that moment that all of this time I've been saying that I'm afraid of stepping into my power because what if people, judge me and misunderstand me and don't get my message? But really, that incident showed me I'm really afraid to step into my power because what if people get jealous of it? What if people shut me off? Like, and I never want anybody to look at me and be like, oh, I want to be like her. If you look at me and want to be like me, I have failed you. I have failed you because I want you to look at me and want to be like you. You know what I mean? That's where the power is. It isn't in a boob size. It isn't in a, butt size or monetary. It is in your personal power, like being in that energy. And I realized, like, wow, even when I'm flying high, like in that highest of vibrations, it's possible for me to trigger jealousy in people. And it it felt scary. I felt like shrinking again. I was like, this is why like I wouldn't want anybody to feel like that. You know what I mean? And then I just get to sit with the fact that it's not my responsibility to babysit people and their responses and their reactions to me. It's just simply not. And yes, it is absolutely 111% unequivocally always my responsibility to show up in love and in my highest vibration. And when I'm not there, to be completely authentic and transparent about that. And when I mess up, to fix it and bring integrity to it. Those are all things that I'm responsible for. And yet, I'm not responsible for if people get jealous or triggered by me standing in my power. And so, yeah, I'd love to just hear like, what is this opening up for y'all? Because I think that I mean, we probably could do a series just on this topic alone, but yeah, I want to hear. Maria, what do you got to say, love?
Oh my gosh. Like I feel you in that experience, first of all. So I want to acknowledge that that how common that experience can be in different areas of life. And as you were sharing, what kept coming up for me, and as I was reflecting on my life, is that first of all, that jealousy is good friends with rejection. And part of the reason why we feel like we don't want to explore jealousy is because one, we're on the side of being rejected, like how you felt rejected by this woman without knowing like why or how it happened. It's like what happened, right? So I think they're sisters. Fear and rejection, and jealousy and rejection. And so when jealousy shows up, there's that fear of being rejected, or there's that desire to reject another human being. Because when I'm feeling jealous, I know that when I feel jealousy, and for me, I've transformed it. In the past, when I was feeling jealous, I would just blame the person that I believed was the source of that jealousy, whether it was in a friendship, whether it was in a romantic relationship. I'm like, you did something that made me feel jealous, so you're to blame. There's something you did or there's something you didn't do, and now I'm sitting in this jealousy. And then as I matured, I transformed it to jealousy is an invitation. Jealousy is my invitation for me to look at me. And whenever I feel jealous, it's telling me that there's something missing for me, or there's something lacking, or there's a big desire that I want, that I have, that is not here in my life yet. And so instead of blaming another human being, I'm like, wow, you're reflecting to me that there's something missing in my life for me. And so let me go now and explore that and take a look at that so that I can figure out what it is. And once I figure out, like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling jealous, like maybe in a romantic relationship, I'm feeling jealous because I want this man to spend more time with me, or I want us to be more playful, or I want us to be more intimate, whatever it is, right, that I'm missing. And then when I see it, I'm like, oh, I can go and ask him if he can provide that for me, or I could see where else I can provide that for myself, or somebody else can provide that for me. So it for me, it shifted into, it gives me a space to discover what's missing for me that I can then explore. And then the thing that why for me in the past it was so, confronting, and why for me it was like I had to blame somebody else, is because I didn't want to be rejected. What if if I make the jealousy be about something that is missing for me, or something that I'm desiring that I don't have, and I ask for it, there's that fear of that person's like, no, I can't give that to you, and then feeling rejected about it. So it's that dynamic created fear in me in the past. And so for me, I'm going to bring something that, aside from doing self-development, so one thing that shifted that for me is letting go of having to be right about something. So the moment that in my life I let go of being right about my emotions and about my jealousy or whatever it is that I'm feeling, then I could then explore it and partner up with the person that I thought was making me feel jealous, whether it was a friend, whether it's somebody in business, whether it's a romantic relationship, whether it's a sibling. It gave me the space, letting go of being right about my emotions or being right about making a point, allowed for me to have the compassion and the openness to actually have conversations. And something that I've taken on, especially in romantic relationship, is that the person or the people that I'm in a romantic relationship with are my partners. We're a team. And so there's no me versus them. And when I remove that, then whenever I felt jealous, I could just sit beside that person and be like, I'm feeling like this. Can you help me unpack it? Can we have a conversation so I can see it, so that I could feel it out and see what it is, instead of blaming him? And I'm the way that I create romantic relationships is I'm non-monogamous. So I have more than one partner. So that's something that automatically shows up in relationships, is jealousy. And some people believe that if you choose to be non-monogamous and have multiple partners, that you've already dealt with jealousy, and like it no longer something that comes up. And that's not true, because we're human beings. The difference is that as a non-monogamous woman, I get to play with jealousy quite often. And I get to discover more about it, and put myself in vulnerable, sometimes confronting conversations. However, the way that I view it is, as I have created it for myself, is no matter who I'm dealing with, like, I am in partnership with that person. So in our sisterhood, I am in partnership with all of you. And it could happen as we continue to grow and expand that one day I may feel jealous of you, Aga, or you, Jennifer, or you, Alicia. Actually, right now, a lot of us are, because one of our mentors collectively is Melanie and Layer. And right now she released a program that I really want to be in. And a lot of you are in it already, whether you've purchased it or like however. And and I could totally be feeling jealous that I'm missing out. And then when conversations are being had, I'm like, I'm not in the conversation. I couldn't get it. And the thing is that we're all in partnership with one another. And I could actually come and say, hey, Aga, I'm feeling jealous about this. Like I see, like for me, one thing that I really admire about you, Aga, the level of wisdom and the level of embodiment in your body and what you're doing with your year-long container is like, I'm like, this woman is extraordinary. Like I don't know how to download codes like her.
You're so sweet.
Alicia, like Alicia is like, she's like the queen of yoga and also downloads and all kinds of things and like connected to the moon and everything. I'm like, I'm not connected to the moon like her. I'm not, you know, and
Are you sure?
here so jealous of one another. But when we shift the context of like, all of you are my sisters. Jennifer, like she speaks and only wisdom comes through, like all like these magical words and you know, I'm like, damn. So we could either sit here and compare to one another and just feel jealous, or we can be honest with one another. And that's one of the things that I remembered back as being a woman. It's like being able to be honest with myself and with others, and then sit in partnership as a team to say, hey, you know, I'm feeling jealous of you right now because of this and this and that. Can we sit in a conversation to unpack my jealousy? I'm not here to blame you, but you reflected something to me that now has triggered me into jealousy. And I'd like to uncover something for myself. Are you open to being in that conversation with me? And that's a very different conversation, because it now doesn't come from attack and from blame and I'm right and you're wrong and how could you do this to me? It's coming from like, let me discover something about myself and about what I desire and what I want that I don't yet have. And that's all it is. So it's an opportunity for me to actually manifest what I want and be completely honest, and it gives the other person that opportunity to be in that level of a conversation that maybe something opens up for them. So that's the journey that I've had, and I have been a very jealous person. And I my ex-husband of 20 years, freaking gorgeous. And every woman always stared at him, wanted to talk to him, and it drove me bananas, like insane. And so, you know, it now that I've transformed that, like I see how I would have behaved so completely different in that relationship had I had this level of wisdom and this level of love for myself and trust in myself. Because Jennifer said something really powerful, and that is that the foundation of a lot of this is loving ourselves and trusting ourselves, and knowing that our essence, our magnetism, our sexiness, our sensuality, and our beauty is not dependent on the size of our boobs, or like me, if I even have one. It's dependent on who we are as humans and in our inner power and our essence. So yeah.
Yeah. That was so, Maria, that was beautiful. And you know, I think we need to make a mental note here, ladies, for another topic of conversation that helps to bring healing to this. Because did you notice how many times Maria was saying have the conversation, have the conversation. This gets to be this type of conversation. And that's why doing the inner work and the personal development work is so important, because I've had partners where I have tried to have these conversations and it's just like I'm speaking English and they're speaking French, right? They're not comprehending it, you know? And so I think that that's like a really good piece to, you know, kind of pin for us to come back to, is how valuable it is to have the conversations where we can open up, because the worst thing is to try to open up that conversation and people not get it, and then it can make it worse, you know what I mean? And now you're feeling a feeling that you're trying to heal, and now there's more wounding on top of it, which just, you know, solidifies whatever bullshit story we're already telling ourselves, you know? And so that piece I think is so valuable in our romantic relationships, but like also in the sisterhood. Like I love the transparency of all of us. You know what I mean? And those of you that are listening, where can you cultivate this type of transparency in your life? Because that's where
Mm.
jealousy can die and transform into something else. You know, it can metamorphose.
I
And there
love
doesn't
that.
have to, yeah, it doesn't have to be a, I never feel this. You are going to feel it. And Maria, I love it. Like we're on the same vibe, like monogamy. Like I've explored with the non-monogamous. So I went from the one who's looking at the back of the video to see if you're going to see a pretty girl to actually being in threesomes. You know what I mean? So like I have been over the map, you know what I'm saying? And it's
It,
dealing with your feelings in a safe space. And that's why doing this inner work is so valuable to sisterhood. That is a code of sisterhood. Like if we're going to heal the jealousy and the insecurity and the feelings of not belonging, we get to be safe spaces for each other. And guess what? Caveat here, the only way for me to be a safe space for you is if I've learned how to be a safe space for me. And I can't be a
there
safe
you go.
space. Yeah, I can't be a safe space for you when you're feeling jealous if I'm still over here in my uncomfortability. Is that a word? It is today. If I'm
Yes.
still over here in my uncomfortability about jealousy, how can I hold you in that, in the love and the reverence and the respect that you deserve,
Mhm.
if I haven't even done that with and for myself? You know what I mean? So yeah, let's just really ask ourselves, like, who are the people in our lives? You know, like y'all can listen to us, you can be with us, but like let's cultivate relationships in our lives where we can actually explore these conversations that feel a little bit more tough and challenging. And know, listen, every woman, listen to me, please know that this is not just your jealousy. This is not just your emotion. You are dealing with eons and eons of this programmed into us, literally into us.
Mm.
So it's okay and it's right and it makes sense that it would feel so strong and so powerful in your body. And also you get to switch it if you want. If you want to sit with the jealousy, no judgment, do your thing. But if you want to switch it and turn it into a celebration that, hey, if I can see it in her, it must mean that I have it. Like, wow, like I'm capable. I'm beautiful too. I see her beauty. I'm beauty. I see her power. I'm powerful. Like there gets to be that switch, you know? And so, yeah, what Alicia, let's hear what you got to say, love. I'm excited to hear your voice.
Hey, so I actually have a different relationship with jealousy. Jealousy and I have been through
Perfect.
the washing machine, and I am enchanted at the idea of jealousy because I've learned that jealousy points me to my destiny. When I see
Mm.
that someone else is doing something or being something or expressing in a way, and I get that little pang of like, "Oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough." I don't see that anymore as I'm not good enough for life. I see that as I'm ready to take myself to the next level.
Mm.
And in all of this, one of the biggest things that I've worked through is that imposter syndrome and like looking as though I'm somebody that I'm not, facing fake. And It's because before I developed this like pointing to my destiny, I would see someone and feel jealous and then feel paralyzed because I didn't feel like I could emulate them. Because if I emulated them, then I would try to be them. And if I tried to be them, then I wouldn't be me. And I didn't see me at that point as a continuously evolving goddess in this world. I saw myself as like someone who had a sort of fixed personality. Um, and it wasn't on purpose it was like I was trying to figure myself out. And in trying to figure myself out, I thought there was an out to like a place that I would eventually arrive. And after all this personal development since I was born that's been happening, I realized that it's a constant evolution and I'm going to figure myself out hundreds of times. I love our mentor, Melanie Anlayer, the way she says she believes we raise ourselves over and over and over again. And I do feel as though I raised myself in my teen years. I raised myself in my 20s. I raised myself in my 30s, and I'm raising myself again. And the finding an essence in someone else that's inspiring could just be that. But would the inspiration be enough to trigger us to change? And
Oh, good
I think,
question.
yeah, I think that getting triggered in terms of jealousy and feeling those uncomfortable feelings lets us dig deep inside our bodies if we're listening and meet a sensation that we haven't been willing to look at before. So I think jealousy is this, I like to think jealousy is this energy between that is really important for the personal growth and development of the collective. I think that there's an energy field that's between all of us, even though we transcend time and space as we chat here on our phones or on our computers across the globe. Like there is an energy between us. And yes, Maria, you're in Canada. I can feel jealous of your lifestyle. You are empty nest and you have many partners, and it seems like you're just living in pleasure all the time. Like I love that about you. And I can remember a time when I was kind of like that. And I know that in the future, that's waiting for me in some capacity because I can see it in you and I can hold it in you as a sister and as a friend. And knowing that it's creating a friction in me that's keeping me connected to this ecstasy feeling that I already know so well, but I've been disconnected with. Like I can dig deep and see all of that in the jealousy. Like it's a really powerful tool for personal growth for me. So I really love that we opened up the conversation, and to our listeners, just to kind of flip the script that like this this jealousy is a problem. Like for me, it's just a button that gets pushed that's like, "Oh, you're ready. You are ready. You are ready, little grasshopper, for some more personal growth." You know?
I love
And
that.
when
Who
I
said
first yeah, when I first feel that sensation, the jealous sensation, it's not like it's ecstasy right away. There's definitely like, where do I feel this in my body? I might have one night of panic. I might have one night of losing sleep over the fact that this person is better than me, or I'm less than, or like my husband looked at someone in a weird way, but I looked at them in a weird way too at the same time. Like there's just this reality that sets in. And I also like that into the darkness process as well. I'm enchanted by that, but it's not easy in those moments to
Mhm.
face the darkness of comparing yourself to someone else and feeling like you don't measure up. Like that doesn't feel good. But realizing that like just because we don't meet the expectations that we have that they seem to meet doesn't mean we never will, and it doesn't mean we're not crushing it in the moment that we are. It's just that uncomfortable severing of feeling complete for a little while. Melanie once talked about it as like self-preference, like before the moment before jealousy, maybe there was a moment of preferring ourselves. And that is a glorious thing to latch onto. Like, "Oh, I prefer myself right now. Like, life's going good. Everything's aligned for me." Oops, that person. wrote a book about the subject that I would like to write a book about, and it seems like they did it in 35 seconds. Ugh, you know? Well, a bitch. Oh wait, I actually want to do that. Like, and I can do that. I see that I have all the skills. I'm gonna set this in motion, and then who knows if I write a book, but it creates power that I can get traction with that will point me to some other part of my destiny. And eventually I'll get to that point again where I prefer myself. And then someone else will make me jealous. And I'll be like, and then I'll be like, oh, it's time. You know, it's a cycle. So thank you for bringing this topic up. And I appreciate hearing all of your perspectives. And gosh, I can't wait for these podcasts to go out into the world. It's my 4-6 line. I'm like, God, I can't wait till you guys
I
listen.
love it.
I just wanted to reflect back. Oh my gosh, the way that you spoke about it, I kept getting this vision of like jealousy being access, like opening up a door into the darkness of the unknown, and then transcending that into a portal of just magic. Like it just
Yes.
like that gap right in between. It's just like you're opening up this door, and you could either take it in like an adventure you're going on because you don't know what's on the other side, kind of like a surprise, right? And then you open it like being willing, having the willingness to be in the darkness and the shadow of the unknown as you walk yourself through this portal to the
Yeah.
other side.
And I have the tools to be in the unknown and not let it take me deep, 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 deep down into the despair that puts us in our sheets for 3 months. Like I have those tools. So that's why, and I hope to sustain those tools because life just keeps getting better and better every day. But if I do end up in despair, gosh, I don't even want to imagine that. But jealousy could do that. Like anything could do that. Anything could be like something we can choose to ascend us, or anything could be something that like knocks us off our rocking chair, like knocks us off our sense of equilibrium. And knocks us to the floor. But if our listeners are anything like the people that are that gravitate toward the creation of this podcast, I think they have some tools too. And it's
Mhm.
important to be able to trust those tools
In the
to be able
community.
to navigate. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say in the community, like how Jennifer was expressing, like really creating, and this is why we created this, because we wanted to show that you know, even when we have examples out there that, you know, we are jealous of one another and we backstab each other, or we hurt one another as women, that there's also equally an example of what it looks like to be in sisterhood. Because if anything is happening with you, Alicia, or with you, Aga, or with you, Anya, or with you, Jennifer, like we're all going to be right there to hold space, to hold compassion, to hold,
Mm.
and to see you through whatever it is. And that
Yes, it's this deep commitment to be shoulder to shoulder. Yeah, I have that.
Gosh,
Yes.
there's been so many things said already that like my brain is scattering. I have again notes, but I don't. There's something that really came to me actually when I was listening to you, Alicia. Now that was actually different what I wanted to say originally. There's a lot of shame attached to the jealousy.
Mm.
And often this is not something we talked about at all because we feel ashamed that we feel jealous. And that's why I love that space so much, because it reminds us all that there's no point in life that you stop feeling human feelings, that you are always a human and you will be experiencing things all the time. You cannot escape that. You cannot outgrow it. You know, you're not gonna be like this unless you go into the cave, okay, and you
Mhm.
meditate there without anybody else. And then yes, be enlightened, but it's only you in a cave, okay? It doesn't work this way in a real life. And I think often we forget about it. We think there's this point, oh, I shouldn't do that anymore. Oh, or like, we getting kind of trapped and entangled into that, where in reality, we cannot escape our humanness. Humaniness? I cannot.
Our humanity.
Humanity. Thank you. We cannot escape that. This is a part of the deal of being here. It's just like Alicia said, like the way we approach it is different because of the tools that we are gathering along the way, right? And we are constantly evolving and changing. So the way we approach those things will be different. But like it's been said already, it's in the spaces like that, finding the space where you can express what you feel without feeling judgment, you know, without going into these shame spirals, because we will be, like I said, we will be experiencing that. And for me, I remember that the way I start transmuting the whole jealousy for myself, it was, I went to this workshop years ago. I think it was like, I don't know, 10 years ago. And it was this exercise that was like, write about the person that you really admire, but like you're kind of jealous of, you know, you really would like to have their traits and what they do. Just write all those kind of traits, all those things on the paper. And at the time, I had this friend, I was like, oh my God, how can she do all those things? Like she was just running the marathons and climbing mountains and riding so beautifully, and just like it was so, I was like, I want that, right? But I was jealous as well at the same time. And I wrote all those things. And then the long story short is the everything that you, what she said back then, it was like the everything that you like want so deeply, it's something you already have within you, but you are not letting it out yet, right? So just shining that light upon that. So this is that, like the hidden desire, like what I want to have, right? And I start transmuting that in this way, that okay, like I see it, this is something that I desire, this is something that I very likely carry already within me, but I didn't find a way to express it, or I am afraid of express it. So again, like Alicia said, this is the door to like looking into yourself and be like, what is it really hiding beneath that? You know, am I afraid? Am I just yeah, feeling worse in some way? But can I, and it's just finding the ways of working with it and transmuting it, but allowing yourself as well to have those moments of like, I want that and I don't have that. Why I don't have that? I want it, right? And then be like, okay, I let myself cry now. Let's see what I can do with that.
Yeah, Aga, absolutely. Thank you for saying that, because it's such a relief. And I'm so truly attracted to people who admit those feelings. And also I have this kind of faith that even those feelings that we don't want to feel, that we are very often shamed for or about, have some very important role to play and have a big amount of good inside them. We have to unpack them. And thank you, Alicia, for saying that. Yeah, it must be uncomfortable. It must be uncomfortable at first, and only later on it can reveal really what it's meant to do. But like not being afraid to be jealous. This is a lot of power, right? And of course, being transparent about it, I think at first we need to somehow face it on our own, not just vent it onto others, because it could be kind of harmful, right? If we just go ahead and say whatever comes to our minds, but just allowing ourselves to sit with it, to be like really, really jealous and to see what's there in me. Yeah, I just, Alicia, you spoke about those tools. So what's for you the tool number one? When you feel that jealousy is kind of spiraling you down, not really up. Could I ask?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, absolutely.
I turned to the human design, and I have an open will, I have an undefined will, so I have one gate. So that means if I experience jealousy, um, there has to be a way for me to recognize that it just kind of whapped me in the self-worth, um, so that I can empty out that feeling, not to get rid of it, but just so that I don't take it to sleep with me. So that's like tool number one, is just the recognition of the different things across the board that can knock me in my self-worth bone and maybe bruise me a little bit. Because I like, there are many things, many triggers that happen that I might not notice that throw me into a shame spiral. And it's because they knock that will center that's pretty vulnerable. Um, so being
So
able to recognize right away, oh, my will has
you
been bruised.
you're
What in
talking
my life have I done to bring amazing results to people? Like, what have I done in my life already that has gotten me to this point, that has established my personal value, or has that really made me be like, I am amazing. I am awesome. I can return to wholeness here, because there's a lot of evidence of, and I'll just like see people walking toward me from across the field being like, you really changed my life 5 years ago. This is what happened. And I'm like, oh, wow. So that's something that I latch into when my will gets triggered. I'll just flash into people's eyes that are looking at me while I'm singing, and I'll be able to feel their vibe tracking with my vibe, and I know that we're clicking, and magic is happening. Like, these are clear memories that help me come back to a space of, I am whole, I am amazing, and I am of value to this planet, and this planet needs me. Um, and that's just one main tool that I would use.
can you just explain? You said undefined will. Do you mean heart center in human
Yeah,
design?
yes. My coach explained it as the will. It's the little triangle between emotion and the G center. So yeah, I
Okay.
think that in some systems is the heart. Yeah. Heart,
Mhm.
will.
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
I love that you brought up the human design. And I also would like to add, for those who do not know human design, basically everything just was summarized, like find what you love about yourself in those moments, right, Alicia? Like, what are the things that you bring to the table? Because this is the other piece, is like, you might not get to be like that person that you're jealous of. You know what I mean? If it's some kind of talent, like maybe they're an artist, or whatever, and you might not ever get that talent, and that gets
Hmm.
to be okay. And you get to use the energy of jealousy, like to turn inward, say, what am I talented at? Like, maybe I look like a, kindergarten painted the picture, maybe I don't look like Van Gogh, but I'm an artist with my words, or, I'm an artist in the kitchen, and I can create meals that just make people, fall in love with every bite. You know what I'm saying? So there are gifts that each of us have. And like, for you were asking on like a tool, that is a good one. This is like, turn the attention inward. It's always good to go back inward, because there can be a million things I could find today, with people that I wish that I had, or wish that I could create. And maybe half of them I can, with enough dedication and energy and focus. And also, there are some that's just not my gift. That's just not my talent. You know what I'm saying? That's not my lane to be in. So do I spend my time being jealous of somebody else, or do I get to be in celebration of A, the gifts that I do bring to this world, and B, the gift that that person is bringing to the world? You know what I mean? A puzzle is different pieces, but when you put them all together, you have a beautiful masterpiece, and each one of us is a unique puzzle piece, you know? And I think the biggest healing piece for me is that I don't have to have that talent. I don't have to, you know, have my boobs look like that. I don't have to XYZ, whatever it is for you listening. You know, it's like I get to look inward and see what I can celebrate. And guess what? Here's the caveat again. Because I went inward, because I saw like what is my value, now I can come back to your value. And instead of feeling triggered by it, instead of feeling like, oh, you have something I don't, it's like, oh my God, look at us together. Me with the words, you with the art, you with the music. Like, wow, we just created a whole retreat. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know? Like we're
I
doing the
love
whole
that.
thing.
Oh my
Unpack.
God, look at us together. I love
Look
that.
at us together. One of the greats, shoulder to shoulder. We're all great in our own way. And I think like that's such a tool too. Like I'm the girl that's always going to tell you, go back inward, go back inward. And Alicia, like you said, it could be a dark, scary place. And also we have the tools, you know what I mean? And we know that there's light on the other side. Aga, go ahead. What do you want to say,
I want
hon?
to
Equal power,
piggyback.
but different.
Yes, exactly, Maria. Equal
Yeah.
power, but different. Yeah,
Equal power, but different. Thank you, Melanie
but
Ann.
this is, yeah, literally, because when Maria was saying just at the beginning, it was like, oh, because you have this and because you have that. So I'm gonna kind of piggyback on what Jennifer and everybody actually said now, because I remember, especially when we are kids, we sometimes think, and I think this is where this is getting created, that we have to be all and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just going back to the fact that we don't. That's the whole point. We don't have to be all and we don't have to be everything. That is
Yeah.
okay just to, yeah, like see your value, see your magic, but at the same time allowing yourself to admire the magic of other
Mm.
people in this pure heart of like, oh my God, look at you. Like, I love the magic you bring to the world. How incredible. And I don't have to have the same magic, but the fact that you bring your magic allows me to bring my own. And
Mm.
we can walk with that together. And I think this is the whole point of like, yeah, you are gorgeous, or you've got
Mhm.
incredible voice. Wow. And I'm gonna look at you and I'm gonna listen to you and I'm gonna look at the work you do and I'm gonna like bath myself in it, I'm gonna really allow myself to admire it.
And this is power, right?
Yeah.
Aga, this is power, allowing
Mm.
myself to admire someone, to receive their gift. So I might not have this gift, but can I allow myself to see it, which is also a talent, right?
Yes, because I'm
Because
benefiting from it, actually. I am benefiting
Mhm.
from it because when I go and admire, for example, a beautiful painting, right? I cannot paint like that, but I can feel crappy about it, or I can let that rub off me so I can bask in the beauty of it and take the moments like, oh, wow, how incredible. I feel this in me. And this is the way of like approaching the sisterhood and womanhood together in this way. It's like, wow, let that, your beauty, your magic, your talent, whatever you bring to that world, let that like rub off me, you know?
Mhm.
Let me sit with it, let me admire it. And then that will allow me as well to express myself better and in a better way and a nicer way, because I don't have the pressure of be all and proving anything to anybody. Because we starting, I think there's this loop of we putting ourselves in because of this kind of old belief that you have to be everything, that out of a sudden you just have to prove and prove and prove. I can too. I can too. Look at me. It's instead of like, oh, look at her, incredible.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
this is
Aga, I
so
And it's
love that you just
igniting.
presented. Oh, you just presented the antidote for jealousy that Buddhism gives us, which is mudita, which is celebrating successes of other people. Like you
Mm-hmm.
just said it in such a like plain way, like a matter of fact way to take this like lofty spiritual teaching and like put it down on the planet. Like, yes, oh, like
That's
it's
my
awe.
talent.
Like
That's what I do. I
we
take
can
lofty
be in
things and be like,
awe of each other.
She just made that thing so sexy. I'm turned on sitting here right now. You just like, woo.
Yes,
Love it.
exactly, because it's participation. If someone has got a talent and we can recognize it, we just receive it, we participate in it. And this talent, this gift means something because someone can see it, right? So, in fact, we play quite an important role here. It's not like the only person who matters is the one with the gift. Also, the receiver, the person who sees it, matters so much. So, what we arrived at, I believe, is belonging, because if I can see something, I belong there. I can receive it from someone. And 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 this is so beautiful, because then it's not like one person's stage and everyone admire this person, but let us admire each other and let us recognize our value in the admiration that we have for other people as well.
and that normalizes celebration.
Yes.
Celebration, because
Ah, that's a code.
That is
Celebrating
a
our
huge code.
sisters.
that's a code just dropped. Yeah, normalizing celebration of other people, gifts, achievements, magic and beauty, and that allows us to celebrate our own as well. And then we are living in a world that just normalizing
Beauty.
and allowing.
I have a short little story, because I think we automatically think that like when we're jealous of someone, they feel better, like they must feel lofty, or they must feel like, wow, I'm way better, like because we're jealous of them, so that should bring them up. But when I was younger, it took me a really long time to unpack that there were some women that were being really cruel to me when I was in high school because they were jealous of me. And I would never have thought with my self-worth that people would be jealous of me. Um, so I just thought that there was some meanies who thought I was terrible and like, I don't know, wanted to push me down or whatever. Like that's all, like I thought that. And then I realized that they were jealous of my position. And that was just mind blowing for me. And now I can kind of celebrate them where they were like just little girls, you know, that were confused and didn't know how to explain their point of view to another person who had a point of view. So it's just it's it's fascinating how we can displace something that could be so flattering. Like it could be so flattering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All this
Definitely.
just brings us into a full circle, I believe, of like we started off speaking about jealousy and division, and all I feel now is oneness. So when we go
Mm.
full circle, we come from division and comparison right into oneness, because it creates expansion. Like Anya said, for the person whose gift is extraordinary, and for the person receiving it being able to see the gift, and so it just creates that more magic. It just ignites. It's like an ignition and a oneness. So yeah, thank you, sisters. That's pretty remarkable.
Mm.
Beautiful.
Definitely. So good. I love this conversation. I'm like, I feel like we could do a whole series on this because it brought up so many different, there was like so many different roads we could have went down with it. And I love each and every one of our shares. And for those of you listening, I just invite you to really, like I said, cultivate your communities where you can have this kind of connection, and also like dive into the tools when these uncomfortable feelings come up of being jealous, so that you have access to your personal power and the tools, they don't work without your personal power. So don't put all your faith in the tool. It's you using the tool and exercising your personal power, because you have to even make the choice to use the
Mhm.
tool, and find the things in yourself that you are ready to celebrate, even if you can only start with one thing. You know, when I was super in a low spot, the one thing that I could find was my breath. I was like, okay, I'm alive, and that means I still have a shot. You know what I mean? And you might be in that kind of dark space, and just give credit to yourself. You're here, you're breathing, you're showing up, you're listening to something like this. But my hunch is that you are on the path of self healing if you found this podcast. And I just am so celebrating you, that you are taking the steps, because you are a part of the sisterhood. You are a part of the codes of sisterhood. Every single time you're in your room and you're in your sacred space and you're doing the inner work and you're looking and you're self reflecting and you're growing and you're expanding, you are doing the work for the collective. You are a part of this sisterhood. We honor you. We celebrate you. Please shine, step forward so that we can see you in all of your power and all of your glory. We're here to celebrate you. And so, wow, what a great episode. What an amazing episode today. And we're just looking forward to exploring even more. So, we just want to thank you for joining us inside the codes of sisterhood. May you carry these codes into your life, seeing, loving, and rising with your sisters. Until next time, remember, we rise by remembering who we are together.